Welcome to Reboot Your Brain Season 3. We've gathered the best experts in the world on brain health, neuroscience, neural programming, positive psychology, mindset, and emotional mastery. Each expert will guide you to change your brain and shift your mindset to be clear, focused, energized, and stress-free for a happy mind, healthy brain, and unstoppable you. In this course, we will teach you how to feed and train your brain so you can move past any perceived limitations and start living a vibrant, happy life. Remember, a relaxed brain learns best. So get comfortable, take a deep breath, grab a notepad, and listen in to today's masterclass hosted by Leah Lund, the Brain Coach.
Hi, everybody. This is Leah Lund, and I want to welcome you back to Reboot Your Brain. This is a series designed to give you tools to work with both your mind and your brain to optimize the function of your brain so that you can live your most fulfilling and joyful and happy life and not let stress or anxiety or fears get in your way of the things that you really want to be doing. And we have an incredible expert here with us today, Dr. Holly Woods. And Holly, first of all, Holly, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here. Thank you, Leah. Appreciate
You
it.
bet. You bet. So Holly has over 35 years experience as a transformational coach and a consultant and a mentor and just a wealth of information and education. You're a certified integral master coach, purpose guide, certified in core individualization, an energy practitioner, and a PhD in human and organizational development. So that's a really vast and broad area of work and research. And you've combined it all into a method or a principle that I know we're going to get into and talk about here today. So I'm going to start out right with that. What is the superpower principle?
Well, the superpower principle is that we each have the ability to bring in our greatest gifts and talents that we came to the planet to deliver. Mm-hmm. And those particular gifts were designed perfectly for this time and space, and that our job here on the planet in this lifetime is really to deliver those gifts in service of humanity and the planet itself. And the principle itself is that if we apply ourselves, if we uncover the gift, uncover the superpower, and get out of our own way, basically remove all of the limiting beliefs and doubts about who we really are, because we're so much bigger than we think we are, and then move into the delivery, the manifestation form, whatever that may be, whether it's a job or a career or in a relationship, many expressions one can have in a lifetime, that we can live into our superpowers. And the principle basically is that you have a number of superpowers. And if you apply yourself, if you have figured out how to deliver one of your superpowers, you can figure out how to deliver the rest of them. It's really hard. So
yeah. And then how does that amplify our life experience when you're living in that flow of utilizing your superpowers?
Well, most of us have experienced flow in one form or another. Even if you think back as a child and you learned to ride a bicycle, and that very first time you stepped onto both pedals and the wheels just started turning and you moved forward and you felt like flying. That's probably one of the earliest forms of flow that most of us have experienced. Or when you learn to swim, those really early experiences, you were in flow in that state. That was a state of flow. And there are particular times in our life when we find ourselves doing things that require no effort. They happen so easily that we lose track of time and space. We forget about our bodily functions. We focus. We don't get distracted. And those are states of flow. And so when you're living in that place, you're actually in synchrony with the field, the cosmos, however you like to describe it. We know about the field, the amplifield, the effect of the cosmos. And when you're in that place, you actually synchronize with all the energy that's available to you, and magic starts to happen. So as you come into a resonance with the truth of who you really are and what I call your soul purpose, your very nuanced, one-of-a-kind expression, in which you're expressing your superpowers, you begin to be in resonance with and living from that place of flow. And then life becomes easier, it becomes more graceful, your life is full of ease, you begin to make decisions more easily, you're distracted by fewer of the extraneous things in life, and it's just a lot more joy in that place, and so your career and your life just take off, like a rocket.
Yeah. When the image that came to my mind when you first started talking about our first experience with flow as a child, learning to ride a bike. In the past, I had a small support group of women, and it was called the Joyride. And we had a picture that was sort of our vision board and our mantra to bring us together, visual mantra. And it was this little girl on a tricycle, and she had like 2 different color ties in her hair, and she had, another color shirt and another color pants and 2 different color sneakers, and just like this wild outfit. And she's on her tricycle, rip roaring down. You could just see the wind, blowing at the speed that she was traveling. And that to me is the image of what you just described, that kind of just unleashed, uninhibited, free-flowing, fun experience of life.
Yeah, and as you're talking, Leah, I just felt the energy of that. That's exactly right. And so when we can reach that state as adults, we can find ourselves back there immersed in the very pure energetic experience of being in our joy, our flow. And so life on purpose is literally like that, being on a bicycle as a child and just, riding down the street, having fun. Yeah. And everything really just happens. It happens magically, truly. I have a client, serial entrepreneur I coached for a while, had been doing a lot of work in the tech industry, Silicon Valley area, and was really disillusioned by his life. And we found, really oriented him to his true purpose. And he began doing that work. And he described it as being in the slipstream. So when you find that place where you're really in true alignment with the truth of who you are, and you're living a more authentic life, magic happens. And he was always like, Holly, I can't believe what just happened. Like, he still calls me yesterday. Like, he called me up. I can't believe what just happened. It's like, well, believe it. It does happen that way.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Well, now I know our viewers are dying to know, okay, how how does one discover these gifts that they're here to deliver and these superpowers?
It's funny. I actually came to do this work. I describe purpose as the very nuanced, one-of-a-kind expression that you came to deliver in this lifetime. So I came back on purpose to do what I do. And, I still don't know what to call myself, purpose guide, or I help people live into their, their fullest potential of their soul. And my purpose is to speak powerful truths, to shine love onto shadow, to liberate soul's potential and reunite love and power. So that's my very nuanced expression. And that's what I help people find, is that level of nuance about who they really are, so they can live their more authentic life. So that's really the first piece of work that I do with people. And we use a lot of methods, some of it guided visualization, meditation, some of it speaking to your family and friends. We do some historical work and sort of dig up the archives of who you've been in this lifetime, because your soul is always on purpose. It's trying to lead you in the direction that it wants you to go. And we get distracted and do all kinds of things and make decisions that are, not in alignment with who we are. And as a scientist, I help put all those things together and figure out, what is your nuanced expression, so that you can sniff it, you can feel it in your body. And then the second kind of work we do is to get yourself out of your own way. So removing the limiting beliefs and the doubts and the fears and the habits and the behaviors that really keep us in a more limited life, expression of life, or, our current way of being, I call it. And as a a master coach, and in my doctoral work, I bring lots of different tools. This is where my energy work comes in as well. So I use a lot of energy work to help get rid of the things in your energetic structure. And then the last piece of the work is really taking very small risks, what I would call pivots, into that fuller expression of who you are, so you can begin to step into, not jump off a cliff, into this new way of being. You know, most people used to think of, you know, to live into my soul, I have to quit work and go travel the world for a year, or, you know, spend how many months in a desert. And it's like, no, actually, you don't have to do that. You can stay in your current life and keep your current commitments and take little steps to begin to experiment with what feels right, what does resonate with you, because it's always an experiment. So I'm help people, having my entrepreneurial background, I've built and scaled a lot of companies. So taking one small step at a time into that expression. So basically three kinds of work, and I say it's simple. It really is simple. We have the technology to do this. It's not neuroscience. You know, it's not. I'm not a brain surgeon. I do have a vast amount of experience, but it does take a commitment.
And when you're saying the technology, the technology.
Right. So
yeah.
right. So
yeah.
Human, social, energetic. There's a lot of different technologies, methodologies that I bring to the table to help people move in this place.
Fantastic. So, and I know we're going to share some of those tools and access to you, because there are so many. I'm wondering so in the second stage, you talked about visualization for even tapping into what has your soul been leading you to that you just maybe haven't recognized. And then you came to the second area of work, which is what's keeping you from it. How are you getting in your own way or in your soul's way? And could you speak a little more to that? Maybe even some tips or a little exercise that somebody listening could do if they're saying, okay, I'm really stuck in my relationship, or finding a relationship, or I'm stuck in my career, whatever it is. Is there something you could share that people could start practicing?
Yeah, great question, Leah. You know, given the newest neuroscience, there's been some neuroscience in how to do affirmations that actually work, as opposed to just, you know, putting things on your wall and reading them 10 times a day, or, you know, the law of attraction. That was really great, and we had a lot of hope for, but didn't necessarily work on its own. So the neuroscience about affirmations is really speaking to the sensationalizing it in our emotional, somatic, energetic structure. So when you have a goal or an objective for your life, or a vision, and so there's something in particular that you would like to, just as an example, is there something that you would like to accomplish in your life, Leah, that we could work with? So just as an example.
Yeah. So let's
or client.
Yeah. I'm choosing. It's like, ooh, which one should I go with? But let's say writing a book, like delivering message through a book that could reach more people.
And so that book, you would like for it to be delivered by when?
Let's say sometime this year.
Okay, so 2018. And you'd like it to reach a particular audience. Who would be the audience?
So the audience would be women that are blocked with overwhelm or anxiety or self-doubt, self-sabotage, and therefore not living all the things that you're talking about here of their soul's purpose.
Right. And so when you imagine completing that book and it's ready for publication, and I mean, can't you feel the women out there who have had these experiences in life of self-doubt and anxiety and disillusionment, and so what is it you want them to experience when they read your book, even when they get excited about the book being delivered? You know, they've ordered the book, it shows up. What is it you want them to experience?
what I want them to experience is a lightness, you
And
know,
what?
a lightness in the
Oh,
sense
light.
of, yeah, of a shift to knowing they are exactly where they're meant to be. There's been no mistake. Nothing is wrong with them. It's all okay. However their road has meandered through life, it's all okay, and they're exactly where they're meant to be, and they have the ability. So
Yes.
empowered and light.
Can't you feel that? And then how do you want to feel?
I think the same way to a large degree.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm sure you experience this as well when we teach, we continue to experience the lesson. So I would imagine I'd feel the same, and a calmness of fulfilling a purpose, you know, of really fulfilling a deep purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'd like for us to do,
Okay.
is to create an affirmation that encompasses all of those elements. And I don't know about you, but I felt the energy of that experience that you just described.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's so beautiful. And so put it into the present. So I am experiencing, and then you'd name the thing you were experiencing. When my book is delivered to a woman who's ordered it, and she experiences, and it liberates, you know, so you'd have some blanks you could fill in with, I experience calm and lightness and delight, and, you know, whatever the other words were that you used. You know, by delivering this book to the woman who needed such, and is now receiving my gift, and is feeling, you know, prepared, courageous, purposeful, honored, you know, whatever the words are. So you want to describe your own experience in the present with as much somatic and energetic expression, so that as you've probably been describing this whole summit, so that it starts kicking in the brain chemicals, release the actual experience in your body about your own experience, and then about the people that you affect, so that you're not only experiencing your delivery and your experience of having accomplished this thing, but you're experiencing having served the people you're intending to serve. Some of the other aspects would be, so making it present, making it as sensationalized as possible. You want to keep this, make it realistic. So it has to be something that you really can imagine accomplishing. You don't want to create objectives that, like, you're not going to finish this book in 2 weeks. You know, you'd never say in 2 weeks I'll have done this. Like, the brain's going to say, there's no way. I'm sorry. I can't believe that. But by the end of the year, that's realistic, right? And you could have gotten the book out, and it could have accomplished that.
Yeah.
I mean, you never say, I'm going to bring in $1 million by the end of the month if you're not already a millionaire. So
right.
And believe it, I couldn't. And then keep it visual. So, you know, type it up, print it out, put it everywhere, and you're going to read it, you know, 5 times a day, and it's going to sink into you. So you really want to digest and anchor that expression in you. So that kind of visualization really does change your brain chemistry. It also changes your somatic experience, so your gut brain. You know, we don't just have a brain up here, we have a brain in our gut. It changes your emotional imprint, and it changes your energetic imprint. I work a lot with our energy structure, which is enormous. We're so much bigger than we think we are. So the brain is just one area of impact. We've got all these other parts of us that are also being impacted. But then we're beginning to embody the truth, because, you know, as we know, we really are the things that we imagine to be true. If we imagine that we're not going to succeed, and that we're not going to accomplish the things that we hope to accomplish, we won't.
Yeah.
So really beginning to visualize, what I call visualize the inconceivable. So I take people to their inconceivable lives by allowing them to visualize that which we really can't own and take in because of our limiting beliefs about ourselves.
That was fantastic. First of all, for myself, I felt it, and I have vision boards, and I've done a lot of visualization, and there was something very different about bringing my focus into really the feeling of it, and then the feeling of those that would be impacted by what I was visualizing. That was very strong for me. And for everybody that's been watching, you can replay this, you can practice this and do this for yourself. And that was an incredible distinction. It's almost like it goes from vision board to like energy board, because you're setting the tone instead of a physical visual like image. It's a feeling. It's something within every cell of your body. And that really came across to me. That was really fun. Thank you.
I started studying the neuroscience of our experience about 20 years ago in my doctoral work. But even more, I think as significant, not so prevalent, but as significant is our energetic experience. And I've been working in that realm for about 15 years, and now an advanced practitioner of core individuation, which is a fairly unknown energy modality, but it's really amazing work.
Incredible. Well, I hate to close because it was really fantastic. And Holly, we've got your website right next to this video. And then you also brought a gift that you're going to share with our audience. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I wrote the Sea Guide with the intent of helping people understand some of the elements of how to live into your superpowers and your, purposeful, epic, what I call epic life. Mm-hmm. I don't just think we can have a good life or a great life. I think we are here to have epic lives. Mm. And we can do that when we really tap into our superpowers, the things that we actually came back to deliver here on the planet. And so these 10 strategies are fairly simple to conceptualize, not quite as simple to implement in life, but take a glance at those. And then I'm also giving, I'd love to spend 30 minutes with anybody that's interested in helping to begin to uncover what your superpowers might be and how you're standing in your own way. It's my way of sharing my own gifts with the world and helping you experience what I do. And wow, see if it's something that you're interested in doing. So I'm delighted to make that offer.
Well, that's incredibly generous. So for our viewers, grab that right away, because that's really amazing. And as are you, Holly. I said this earlier before we started, but you are a superpower yourself, a superhuman, and a super spirit. And I can't imagine this event if you weren't in it. So I'm just really, really glad that you're here and we were able to do this.
Well, thank you, Leah. I so appreciate it. And I'm really honored to be here. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. And for everybody who's been listening in, try the exercise and let us know your takeaways and how it works for you. And I will see you on the next episode of Reboot Your Brain. Thanks, everybody.